Good afternoon, students. I am Madhavi, your biology teacher from BRGS. This is a chapter life process, biology, and this is excretion subtopic. So we have already covered about kidneys, the chief organs in our body, which involved in the excretory system. So the function of the excretory system is the excrete wastes that are not helpful to the body. So the wastes are removed from our body, that is excretion. And so in this video we are going to learn about the nephron. So the structural unit of kidney, that is nephron. So this is the simple diagram you can practice of nephron. See, this is glomerulus. One second. Yeah, this is the part glomerulus. Okay, and this is cup-shaped organ is called Bowman's capsule. Okay, this is PCT. This tubule is called PCT. PCT means proximal convoluted tubule, and this is Henle's loop. Henle's loop. This is U-shaped tube, that is called Henle's loop. This is DCT, means distal convoluted tubule. Okay, and this is collecting duct. So these are all the parts involved in nephron. Okay, so and one more thing you have to learn, here you can see, one second, yeah, here you can see two blood vessels, okay, which is the blood vessel which carries the blood inside the Bowman's capsule, and the filtered blood which goes out from the Bowman's capsule. So this blood vessel is called afferent arteriole. Okay, and this blood vessel is called efferent arteriole. You can see here, this is efferent arteriole. Okay, which is the blood comes out from the Bowman's capsule, and this is afferent arteriole, that is the blood moves into the for filtration, moves into what is that, glomerulus, that is Bowman's capsule, for filtration. See, this is afferent, 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 which carries afferent arteriole means the blood vessel. Okay, that is called afferent arteriole, which carries the blood, means the blood carries waste material. Okay, so that blood goes into the Bowman's capsule here. Okay, so for filtration, and the filtered blood which come out from the Bowman's capsule, that is through efferent arteriole. Okay, I think that is clear, and let's move on. So these are all the functions. Okay, see, efferent vessels takes the blood to the glomerulus, and glomerulus performs ultrafiltration. So actually there are three things occurs in nephron, that is ultrafiltration, reabsorption, and secretion. Okay, so you will come to know what are those three parts. Okay, so see, these are all the, here you can see ultrafiltration. The substances from blood are taken, means filtered from blood vessels into tubule here. So this is glomerulus. Glomerulus means the cluster blood vessels. Okay, so in this filtration, ultrafiltration happens. So the substances from the blood, which substances, waste substances from the blood are taken from blood vessels into tubules. Into tubule means you can see these are all, this is tubule. So the filtrated blood, okay, will enter into this tubule. Okay, next, here you can see substances needed by body are transferred from tubule back into blood vessel via this network of capillaries. This is called reabsorption. So some of the waste substances get into the tubule along with the useful materials. So those useful means the waste will okay pumped into the tubule. So along with some of the useful substances also. So these useful substances will be absorbed by this tubule. Okay, so that is called reabsorption. And what is secretion? Some substances continue to transfer from blood vessel into tubule. So these are all the blood vessels. Okay, so from the blood vessels, some of the substances will transfer into tubules. So that is called secretion. So finally, the waste substances go along tubes to the bladder. So this is a collective duct. Through that, the waste will go out. Okay. Next, so this is the, here you can see this is glomerulus. Okay. See, filtration. This is called ultrafiltration. Okay, the blood carries waste material, will enter into the glomerulus and get filtered. Okay, and get filtered like this. The waste will get filtered into the tubule from the glomerulus. Next, so this is reabsorption. Reabsorption means here you can see here, so the blood, the filtered blood enters into the tubule. Okay, and in this some of the useful things are also get filtered along with waste. So these useful substances like sodium, ammonium, so these are all jump into this capillaries, blood capillaries. See here, sodium, amino acids, glucose, this will be enter into blood. So that is called reabsorption. Fine. Next, this is secretion. See, these are all the capillaries. From the capillaries into tubule. Once again, yeah. From the capillaries into tubule, some of the substances like ions, okay, some of the ions and all this will be transferred into these tubules, from the blood vessels to tubules. For what? For maintain the ionic balance. For maintain the ionic balance in the tubes. So this is called secretion. Okay. So I hope you understood. So let's move forward. And this is hemodialysis. Okay, hemodialysis. So what is hemodialysis means? The person's kidneys are not function properly. Okay, so the kidneys are not function properly, then he has to take this hemodialysis. Means that is these hemodialysis are also called artificial kidney. Okay, so what happens actually here? See, the blood takes from that patient, which is urea rich blood. Okay, urea rich blood. Why it is urea rich blood? When the kidneys are not function properly, then the urea will jump into the blood. So the urea percentage will get increased in the blood. So it should be removed from the blood. So that is by the process hemodialysis, that urea will be removed. So how it will be removed? So first when the blood takes from the patient, then it will be passed through this tubule. Okay, then through that this is called dialyzer. This is called dialyzer. So the blood passes through this dialyzer. When the blood passes through this dialyzer, then the urea will jump into this will go into this dialysis fluid. Okay, so what is this dialysis fluid actually? It is uh, the same as blood, only the thing is the urea will not be there in this dialysis. Okay, the the contents are same as blood, so the dialysis fluid has same as blood. So what happens when this blood passes through this cellophane tubes? So these are called, one second, so these are called cellophane tubes. Okay, these are called cellophane tubes. What happens here when the blood passes through this, then the urea which is inside the blood, so it jumps into the dialyzed machine, okay, dialysis fluid, through the diffusion. Why? Because the higher concentration means here the higher concentration is urea rich blood. Okay, so from this urea will jump into this dialysis fluid through diffusion process, because the higher concentration the molecules moves to the higher concentration to lower concentration, that is called diffusion, right? So here it happens. So after a while this it will become the urea concentration now will be increased in this dialysis fluid because of this transformation of the urea from the blood to dialysis fluid. So after a while, after a point of time, this dialysis fluid should be changed. Okay, then what happens? The blood which is get filtered, so that blood should be pumped again into the body. So this is what hemodialysis. Then what happens? The patient will be happy there, because the urea will be removed from the blood. So this is what the hemodialysis process. Okay, fine. So next, please watch the video, and for better understanding you will get contents very easily also. Let's have
waste products in the body are transported by the blood to the kidneys through the renal arteries. Unwanted wastes and toxic products such as urea, uric acid, hydrogen and potassium ions are left behind in the kidneys. These excretory products are removed by nephrons in the form of liquid called urine. The kidney performs 3 functions leading to urine formation: ultrafiltration, selective reabsorption, and tubular secretion. Nephrons filter minerals, wastes, and water, but retain red cells, proteins, and large molecules. This process is known as ultrafiltration. The filtered blood is returned to the body through the veins. Some substances in the initial filtrate, such as glucose, amino acids, salts, and a major amount of water, are selectively reabsorbed as the urine flows along the tube. Further absorption of nitrogen compounds takes place through the hairpin loop and the distal convoluted tubule. Further substances not required by the body may be secreted into the filtrate by cells of the nephron before it leaves the kidney. Next, the urine is poured into the collecting duct. Then the urine flows from the medulla into the pelvis of each kidney. Finally, through the ureter, urine is drained into the bladder. The bladder is muscular, so it can expand to store the urine until it is disposed of. The muscles in the bladder make it open up automatically in babies when the bladder is half full. adults can control these muscles. An adult bladder can hold about 800 milliliters of urine. In a normal healthy adult, the initial filtrate in the kidneys is about 180 liters per day. However, the volume actually excreted is only a liter or two a day because the remaining filtrate is reabsorbed into the kidney tubules. When factors like infections, injury, or restricted blood flow affect the functions of kidneys, it leads to the accumulation of poisonous wastes in the body. If not detected on time, these accumulated wastes can lead to death. For people with an injured kidney, an external artificial kidney can be used to remove nitrogenous waste products from the blood. The process of externally purifying the blood is called dialysis. An artificial kidney contains a number of tubes with a semi-permeable lining suspended in a tank filled with dialyzing fluid. This fluid has the same osmotic pressure as blood, except that it is devoid of nitrogenous wastes. The patient's blood is passed through these tubes. During this passage, the waste products from the blood pass into the dialyzing fluid through diffusion. The purified blood is pumped back into the patient. The actions performed here are similar to the functions of a kidney, except that there is no reabsorption. Compared to animals, plants use completely different strategies for excreting waste material. These techniques differ from plant to plant. During photosynthesis, plants release oxygen as a waste product, and during respiration, they release carbon dioxide. Plants get rid of excess water through transpiration. Many plant waste products are stored in the vacuoles of cells. Waste products may be stored in leaves that fall off. They may also be stored as raisins and gum, especially in old xylem. Other wastes include dead plant tissues like cork. Plants also excrete some waste substances into the soil around them.
Thank you for watching. Have a great day.